Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to the witnesses. I represent a district in the East Bay of the San Francisco Bay Area. I've represented the San Francisco Delta, Bay Area Delta, for a long time. It provides a large amount of clean water to the state of California, including Los Angeles, and to the ag industry. So my question for Ms. Uffmer, how can areas like that with almost 8 million people and also being a great resource to the agricultural industry that produces a third of all the fruits and vegetables in the United States, as we go through this investment in infrastructure in areas like that, how do we make sure that the regional plans, and the Bay Area has a lot of government, we've got 9 counties and I don't know how many cities and special districts, how do we coordinate that and use this to make sure that we're doing the best investment for a place like that, the largest estuary west of the Mississippi, that has huge impacts not only on people who drink water, but the national economy vis-a-vis the ag industry in particular?
That's a challenging, when you're looking, because you're asking about a regional focus, how do you bring everyone to the table? And regardless of whether you're talking your area or other areas, you have a combination of both large and small governments as well as special districts, and they have different capacity needs. And getting them talking about it and the available funding, because when you're talking about the federal share versus the non-federal share, non-federal sponsors usually have a limited amount of money that they can bring to the table, which is based on whether it be taxes or community. So it's about educating and bringing them together, whether it be in a town hall, and that's getting more into details, but it's about how to bring different size levels of government to the table to talk about these challenges and what they have available.
Yeah, and in the context of sea level rise, which the Bay Area, like most areas such as ours, there's a bigger challenge. So we've invested a lot in our levees to keep the infrastructure up, trying to have that regional approach, and that we can learn from other areas that are similar to that. Mark Twain famously said, in California, whiskey's for drinking and water's for fighting. So trying to get this opportunity from an engineering perspective in an area like that it's so crucial to get this right. And to your point, having come from local government, Prop 13 was a good thing for some people. I will include myself from a personal standpoint, but the maintenance of effort and the local match is always a problem. And it's not a good financial model because clearly the benefit to the economy on the West Coast in this instance, and to a place with California's GDP would be the 4th largest in the world right now, and water is so important. Mr. Jones, what can we learn from the Corps in this moment in sort of following on that in regions like this, how we can coordinate better with local and regional and state agencies on the pure engineering and the delivery of projects? I think this is something we can agree on a bipartisan level. We have in this committee is project delivery is important, particularly in this kind of environment.
Sure. Thank you, Congressman, for the question. You spoke of some 80 jurisdictions in your area. That is an immense challenge. One of the things that we know, though, is that water knows no political boundaries, and so water is moving about amongst those 80 different political jurisdictions. So it's going to take immense communication and coordination. From the engineering perspective, though, understanding and trying to remove as best we can the political factors in the discussion and allowing the data and the science and the engineering solutions to ultimately lead the conversation, right? Obviously, there will be political influence and discussion. There will be community input and discussion. Every stakeholder will have their say and priority. But prior to you coming in, I talked about my background being from southern Louisiana. Very similar in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina and the inland floodings in the state, and bringing those folks to the table to one, educate them on how water flow actually occurs, where the water needs to be, and the various uses, simply put, I would just offer that there's no such thing as over-communication in this regard, and trying to have every stakeholder understand what their needs are, but but as importantly, understand what the needs of their fellow stakeholders are, and ultimately try to achieve some regional priorities and then work towards those goals.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.